Episode 9 is set to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing in this movie has all to do with exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize the interactions between both Kylo Ren and Rey, as well as other scenes that involve the Knights of Ren in this story. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it comes to various shot descriptions of this movie that involve concept art descriptions of both Rey, Kylo Ren, the Knights of Ren, and more, this is where things begin to get very exciting for the film by JJ. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of Rey fighting one of the Knights of Ren that is wielding a crossguard lightsaber. It's said that this Knight of Ren is said to be a male with where his helmet is off during the sequence. It's said that this Knight of Ren is wielding Kylo Ren's lightsaber for an unknown reason, and is using it against Rey in a battle. The character has a scar on his forehead and has long black hair. Another goes over Kylo Ren using Force lightning on the large battlefield against 3 Resistance fighters in the third act of the film. It's described to, however, be a burst of lightning similar to how Snoke used it in The Last Jedi against Kylo, and that it causes the soldiers to go flying in the air over a cliff. The next describes both Rey and Kylo Ren in a standoff, where it's said that he demands that she hands over the Skywalker lightsaber, and that it does not belong to her. It's said to be a similar sequence of what was done between both Finn and Kylo in The Force Awakens, where it's described that Rey tells Kylo that the lightsaber has better meaning to it than what he already knows. Others of which described, of course, Rey and Kylo Ren sprinting away from a large shockwave side by side, with both of their lightsabers ignited. It's said to be a blast from one of the Annihilators in space. Lastly, a description of Rey stabbing her lightsaber through a blast door, giving a direct parallel to what Qui-Gon did in, of course, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this and as to why I am so excited about what JJ is going to do with Rey and Kylo Ren. So, first things first, alright? The direct parallel to that of The Phantom Menace, I think, is pure gold here. How Rey is actually using the Skywalker lightsaber to pierce through one of the blast doors in Episode 9, most likely within the First Order headquarters, giving us a beautiful parallel to what was done in Episode 1 by, of course, Qui-Gon Jinn, an epic moment, I must add, that really showed us that there was more to lightsabers than just fighting, where they were able to use it against blast doors. So, moving past all of this, alright, I think that the more shocking moment, if you will, was of course Kylo Ren using Force lightning against 3 Resistance soldiers on this large battlefield that takes place within the third act of the movie. Now, Kylo Ren using Force lightning is described to be very short, like a burst, very similar to what Snoke did in The Last Jedi. And to this day, I can't understand as to why Disney and Lucasfilm are kind of steering clear or steering away from using what was already done in the original trilogy, where Palpatine was able to use it extensively, right? He was able to use it for a long period of time, where Snoke only used it for a second, and now Kylo's going to use it for a second in this scenario. So what I would love to see rather than this is, of course, Kylo Ren actually using it for seconds on end against his enemies, whoever those enemies really are. Now, the thing that really does stand out to me the most is, of course, this sequence involving both Rey and, of course, a Knight of Ren that is fighting her without his helmet on, that is using Kylo Ren's lightsaber. So this really does raise a lot of questions. Why would a Knight of Ren be using Kylo Ren's lightsaber? Unless it's actually said to be, a crossguard that is of his own. However, it's described to be Kylo Ren's lightsaber hilt. So why would he be using this? Does this hint at one of the other sequences that we went over a couple of days ago, where Kylo Ren is knocked unconscious in between both Rey and Kylo's lightsaber duel? On the battlefield that we went over just yesterday, by the way, it could very well be a fill-in of what happens in between, where a Knight of Ren perhaps picks up Kylo Ren's lightsaber and continues the fight and tries to kill Rey. It's very possible. So that's the big question right there as to why a Knight of Ren is using Kylo's lightsaber against Rey. The other one of which I find to be very impressive, by the way, is where we have both Rey and Kylo Ren described to be running away from a massive shockwave from one of the Annihilators in space, shooting down on the surface of this unknown world in, of course, the third act of the movie, of course, Episode 9 between both Rey and Kylo, while both of their lightsabers are ignited. So this most certainly does tie directly into what we went over a couple of weeks ago, where Rey and Kylo eventually help each other out from this massive shockwave that takes place, and JJ is doing something of that scale in Episode 9 on an unknown world in this film. So, like I say guys, I think that this movie really does have a lot to offer when it comes to all the different interactions between both Rey, Kylo Ren, new powers for both of these characters, as well as the Knights of Ren, being very impressive and interesting than what we were, and then what they were in, of course, The Force Awakens, because we only got a little glimpse of them in that movie, and ever since then, a lot of people have always wanted to see more of these characters. Even J.J. Abrams expressed before in the commentary of The Force Awakens that he would love to see a Knight of Ren, origin story, or a Knights of Ren TV series or movie standalone film. So, let me know what you guys think about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.